Will, will. Alright. We're streaming? Should be streaming. Yep. Okay. Music. Go. Like, oh god, I missed it. That's awkward. Okay, so it is 2:16 a.m. A bit late for me. Right. So working on this. What did I do? Oh god. I've done some stuff. I don't remember what I last did on stream though. I was working. That's right. I was working on mouse movement last, right? That's right. It was a click movement for. I should just go ahead and hit play. It was a click movement for the player. So I got it working. I did all the auto stuff basically. I also did. I remember I made it to where the mouse cursor actually like hides after a short delay. Sometimes. So I did that. I did one more thing, though I don't quite remember what it was. God, I don't remember what it was. It was something minor that I didn't feel like, probably don't even need to mention. But, I don't know, it was just like some quality changes that I needed to do. Anyway, let's look at this, because it opened. Alright, so, yeah, mouse. The changes I made to it was, right now you'll see like it's totally fine, it's just on screen. But if I go into game, anytime you're on a screen that has mouse controls, so like this one or the stage screen, I'll have to do this, but after 5 seconds of it not moving, and my mouse drifts a bit, there you go. After 5 seconds the cursor disappears. So if you don't want the cursor on screen, you could bring it to the side, but it's still kind of like on the side a bit. I guess what I could have done is I could have made it gone off the screen a bit. Or maybe it hides if you go to the side of the screen. I figured like if you watch a YouTube video or whatever, usually like after a couple second delay it just kind of vanishes. And I figured this is fine. If you're using it, then it'll pop up. I also made it to where if you have like auto move on, it'll always be on the screen. So if you have said that you're going to use computer controls, it makes sense that you'll always see the mouse. But other than that, so basically, if you were just like controlling it with keyboard or whatever and you weren't bothering with the mouse will vanish. So it's a nice little thing. So as far as the mouse stuff goes, we had all the ship stuff worked out, it's just the player stuff. So this works pretty well. The only problem is when you click to something really close, it doesn't really go that far up and down. It works really good side to side. So I'm kind of okay with it. The click movement at least. I had to set something up to where you can still click above the water and it'll try and go to where that point is and then it'll disappear. It basically ignores the Y coordinate if it's above. And I had to do that because if you got like close to the water but you weren't there, because it doesn't like move completely, you could get like slightly under the water and try to click to go above the water and he would just drown, which is not ideal. Dang, did we run out of time there? Anyway, yeah, so I did that. I think this is pretty good. I had to set up something to where, based on the speed of your moving, it changes the distance that it can get to the point before cutting off. And it was kind of hard to do to get it to work for all of the different upgrades because they all move at a different speed. But I figured this is like as close as I can get. So the point and click one is not the best, but it's functional, I suppose. I also set it up to where because I was having the trouble of it sometimes not facing the correct direction, there's actually an easier solution for that, to where it just shoots in the direction that you actually put your mouse. So, and that just makes more sense anyway, right? So I set that up. So that kind of solves any issue of maybe him turning around when it gets to a point. That usually happens in like going in diagonals, because the diagonals are harder to figure out. But sometimes he'll switch to face the other direction. But as long as you're shooting in the direction you want the bullets to go, it'll just automatically swap. All that works pretty well. Let's see. It's about to close anyway. So after that, I did the precise controls, which I think just work all around better than the point and click ones, because it just follows directly where the mouse is. And I gave it a little bit of dead zone on side to side before it starts moving again, so you can actually like face the direction you want to shoot. But it had to be like almost perfect for up and down, because you want to shoot where your mouse is on the vertical, right? So he goes to the point where the bullets basically come out wherever your mouse is. And yeah, I'm a lot happier with the precise controls. I think this actually works a lot better. It's actually kind of fun to play like this. I also made it to where, I mean, it's very simple to do, but if auto move is on, it just does that kind of movement automatically. And same thing with auto shoot, which the auto shoot thing was really easy to do. And it'll always shoot in the direction that the mouse is facing, basically. So yeah, I'm a lot happier with the precise controls than I am with the point and click one. The point and click one was just very difficult to get it to move sort of in the right spot where you want to go. Like if I want to go attack this guy, it pretty much went where I wanted him to go. But see, sometimes it like kind of overshoots, and it's hard to get like it right where you want it to be if you're just clicking. But you can always just hold the right mouse button and get precise controls. So I figured it didn't matter too much to get it perfect. So I moved on from it. And that's basically all I did there. Alright, let me get this all set up. After that, oh yeah, I'll show you how I did that. So the hiding the controller part is actually pretty simple. It's just if the ship exists or the player exists, we're in a stage where we're controlling those things, right? I also made it to where if you pause the game, it'll make the cursor just pop up automatically, because you use the cursor for any sort of menu thing. The cursor is just going to be on screen. And if if you have auto move on, the cursor is just on automatically. And then I say if the hide X or the hide Y is based on the Windows mouse. I started off using mouse X, mouse Y, what's in here. But the mouse X and the mouse Y actually changes as you're moving around on the screen, right? So I couldn't use that. I needed to do it based on where the window is, and this is the one that you can use for that. So even though the screen and the X coordinate and the Y coordinate's changing, the coordinate for where it is on the window doesn't change. So yeah, I just set them both as variables, and then I said if basically, okay, so below this, ignore this for now. I say that the hide X is whatever that coordinate is, the hide Y is whatever that coordinate is, and then the next time around it's going to see if either of these things don't, or if they're not true anymore, so it means it's moved, then it's going to start increasing this, or actually, other way around. If these are both still true, then this timer is going to start increasing. If it's not true anymore, then it's going to reset the timer back to 0. Also, if you're ever in an area where you have the menu on, the timer just goes to 0. And then if that timer is ever less than 300, it draws the sprites. If it's greater than 300, it doesn't draw them. Which 300 would be 5 seconds. I figured 5 seconds seemed pretty okay for not being annoying. I don't know what the typical is if you're on like YouTube. How long does it take for the mouse to go away? I feel like it's about that. It seemed about right. Okay, so that's how I did that. Let me just look at this. Did I change anything in here? I think this is all basically the same. This is how I did the cursor movement stuff. I basically just did a bunch of these like Yeah, it got kind of messy. But it's all like based on what the absolute value of the v-speed of the player times a certain number, which I just had to keep like messing with it till I got one that I liked. And then the other one's a little bit different. But if the point distance over at that, and it's also based on like what the surface is, it'll end up destroying itself once the player gets close enough. Okay. The player, so the movement stuff is going to be up here, and I copy and pasted it into all the different upgrades. I didn't show that, but it works. So here's the mouse controls. If we don't have auto move on and we don't have precise, then if the cursor object does exist, and then I did this thing, if you press any key button, it will destroy the cursor. So yeah, any sort of key movement will override the mouse movement. If mouse check, right mouse button is being held, then it's going to destroy the cursor movement. Set the precise on. It'll still do the movement, and it didn't really matter to exit there. And then, yeah, regardless of that, oh no, it won't even do the movement because I have this else. So yeah, if the mouse is on, it'll set this precise and then go to the next thing. If it's not, then it'll do the movement, which is based on the cursor location. And it just uses the direct input keys, which made things a lot easier to set up. So if global option, auto move, or precise, so this is for if neither one of those, and this is for both of them, then it's going to see if there's a cursor on screen. If there's a cursor, it's going to turn the precise back off and exit. Otherwise, it's going to basically these same controls, but they're based on the mouse cursor now. And that's it for mouse movement, really. It ends right here, and it goes into normal keyboard movement. So there's just this much to do the mouse. But down here, above shooting, I added this thing. If mouse button left, if this is just for attacking with the mouse, or the auto moves on or precise is on, then it's going to see like what the X is compared to the mouse's X, and then set the image X scale to be either left or right based on that. And it does that just before you attack. So regardless of what all this stuff sets the left and right to be, this will take precedent, and it'll just swap it to what it's supposed to be for shooting your gun. Thank you. A nice thing to say. I've been working on it. I wouldn't say that, but I'm not a noob anymore, at least. Okay, and that's all that. We looked at all the ship stuff, so there's nothing really new there. Anything at the bottom here? Not really. No, I think that's it. Alright, so we're moving on. I was gonna do score implementation. I figured out the things that actually affect the score. So I need to like figure out how to make that, what I'm going to do for it. I really don't know. And I want to start setting up some of the score stuff so it at least, I want to get it set up to where all I have to do is enter a number and it will either add or subtract that from the score. Yeah, and then anytime I do anything in the future that affects the score, should be able to do it pretty simply. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And I have no idea where to start. What would control the score of the game? That's a good question. I guess it would be in the controller, because that's an object that will always be on screen. And it seems like a pretty good thing to track the score on. I mean, as long as the scores are global, that would work too. But I think this is just kind of like the best object to do this with. I guess we should start by drawing the score, right? And I don't even know where to draw the score. I feel like maybe I should save the score for later, now that I'm thinking about it. I kind of need a UI before I can figure out where the score goes, right? Sort of what I'm thinking. I don't know. I mean, I can kind of put it where it's supposed to be. Let me look at what my UI is again. I don't even know where the stage stuff is. Stage stuff, here we go. Alright, so it's all like top left of the screen, basically. And then the all the option stuff is going to show up on the right side of the screen. I don't know, I didn't really leave room for putting the score on the UI, which is kind of a thing. I was thinking I'd just put it beside the UI. Like, usually that's where scores in them old NES games go anyway, right? Is they're just right next to the UI at the top. Kind of like, you think about Mario, right? Anytime you get score in it, it's just kind of like at the top, counting up. Yeah. So I could just do that. So what I was thinking in my head is, we'll have the score up there, and anytime you get something, it'll just have the number appear to the right of it, like the +1, +100, whatever it is, and then the score will count up. Maybe, I don't know, like how in depth do I want this? You know, like, I just don't know what I want. Not really a good way to start. I could have it, I don't know, I was thinking it count up kind of like a, what am I thinking, like an odometer, but that's going to be a lot of work, making each individual string character rise up, right? And that just sounds like way too much of a chore for what I want to do. So I'll probably just have it add directly to it. I could have like the numbers go into it so it looks like it's being applied to it or something. I also got to think of like what color is the numbers so that it works for every blue background. White doesn't tend to look great on blue. I could make it like some other color, yellow or orange. I guess orange would pop out the best. Actually, I can make it the same color as the mouse's outline, right? So that whatever color you pick for your color blindness, the score will be the same color as it. That makes sense. And it should pop out good enough. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I'm gonna do that. So if you change the cursor color, it changes the score color as well. I am not using specifically like a colorblind mode sort of thing. I'll show you real quick. And actually, it'd probably be better if we just look at it in game and think about this. So the only thing I've really set up for color blindness is being able to change the mouse cursor color. So this is like what the game is like. So if we're going to like options, controls, game. So you can set up the different cursor controls here. So I was thinking like whatever this color is that you set, which is yellow by default because I think yellow stands out pretty well on blue. Yeah, I just make the score be whatever color this is. So this will be like the player's preferred color. That makes sense to me. Alright, so what I'm thinking of when we get in game, I really like the mouse controls, by the way. It's just nice to not have to use my left hand. So it's just handy. So yeah, there'll be like a big box in the top right of the screen right here, right? With all of our UI stuff. So I'm thinking it would be just right to the right of it right here. And I'm thinking like if you destroy a monster or whatever, it'll have like, maybe the score will pop up on the explosion when you kill it, because that makes sense. I don't know. If I put like numbers on every shot, I should use a keyboard actually because I won't die as much. If I make it like numbers pop up on every shot, that might get a little too messy. But it might be fine for like anytime you kill something. But honestly, I kind of feel like the whole idea of a score I gotta think of it like most people don't care about a score, and I'm trying to make people care about a score again, which is a challenge. But I honestly, I probably shouldn't even put it in their face and just have it in the top of the screen. I just want it to like show up on the end of the screen and on this load game sort of menu. So maybe I won't even show like how much score you get. And it'll just appear up here and you'll have to pay attention to it or something. Oh, missed it. I guess I should try it multiple ways and just see what I like. I think the first thing we need to do is to draw our score at the top and then figure out how we're going to like display it, because that's kind of like the most important part. And then whether it pops up when you get it like on screen or not, I can figure out later. Let's just have it in the top left first. So I guess we just start by drawing it, right? Also, what size is the font going to be? Because I have no idea. Let's do, I feel like 18 is too big. Let's start with 16. Oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. I probably should have found out where my X and Y coordinate was while I was on that screen. Oh well, I'm just going to kind of guess it. Let's just put it at -100. And, oh no, we can't do that. It's got to be based on what the camera is. Good point. Because it needs to always be... I can do stuff with... Yeah, here's something I haven't messed with. I haven't really messed with, like, GUI stuff. Maybe I should look in on that. Because technically all of this is part of the UI, graphical UI. Let's just type in GUI. I don't know. I also don't know why I would particularly want to use the GUI as opposed to just putting it on screen permanently. Yeah, my game is heavily based on like NES games. I got like lots of references to it, and it's directly based on the Jaws game, so kind of why I'm doing that. And I thought it would be fun to add a score into the game. Just I don't know, for the heck of it. I'll put it on like on the save. You'll see what your current score is. And I thought it would be funny if the score can actually go negative if you're doing really poorly, just so it's like a little bit of an incentive to do better. So you could technically beat the game and your score is like -100,000 or something. I just thought that might encourage people to try it again and actually get a positive score. Because I want to make it to where like anytime you miss a shot, you lose score. Anytime you like miss out on, if you let loot disappear before you collect it, or if like you take damage or lose an upgrade, you die. Or if a certain amount of time passes in game, you start losing score. So I thought that would be fun to make it a little more interesting. Yeah. Well, I thought about the game. In the game, you're like a school teacher. So I can set up like the grade you get at the end of the game to be based on how good your score was. Or the grade your students get. So if your score is really bad, all your students failed, regardless of how, you know, well you did in the game. Which just be like a funny thing that happens. Okay, I'm not gonna do this. Let's just draw text. Oh yeah, and I already started that. So, draw text that. Let's do like, it doesn't even have to be that far down. Let's just start with 50. The string will be global. I don't remember what I set the score to. Have I even made the score? Let's just type score. There it is, slot 1 score. Oh, we have to figure out what slot we're in. There's a global score. Oh, that's right, it gets saved to it. Okay, never mind. This is the one I want to use. Anything else? There's also... I'm not using the right one. I want draw text extended color. Yes. That's a string. I feel like this is new. Oh, I don't usually use extended. So extended gives you like separation and width. That's interesting. I've never really messed with the extended draw. I'll look at this, look this up. So, yeah, separation is the distance in pixels between lines of text. Okay. Width is the maximum width of pixels in the string before the line breaks. How does this work? What happens if it goes above the line width? Does it just stop drawing it? I don't know. I'll have to mess with that later. As in, I'll probably never get around to it. We can cut that part out. Alright, so color is just going to be global cursor, option cursor color 1. I'm going to do that 4 times. Goose, goose, goose. There we go. I guess we just start with that. And then we got to figure out like how we're going to display the thing beside it. I'm thinking it just appears there. I don't know. Because there's going to be a lot of numbers coming out, right? Because if I don't do anything, they're all just going to like stack on top of each other. And it's not going to look great. So they either have to like move through really quickly. I don't know. I do like the idea of the font actually like increasing in size or something every time you get like a positive number, or anytime there's a change, so it just kind of like wiggles or whatever to show that the score has been affected. I think that would be a good way of adding a little bit of character to it without going overboard. So this will be like the default state. Anytime we change it, we'll have it like increase in size by a little bit. I guess I'll just have the number come on screen and take off as soon as it comes. At that point, it's kind of like, what's the point? I could make like the text wiggle or something as it goes up. There's a lot of things I could do. But if they're all going to have like unique XY coordinates, how am I going to track that for so many numbers? Without making it like an object. I don't want to make it an object. I feel like this might actually be more complicated than I was thinking. Because I'm working on it like an array now. Oh, with their own unique XY coordinates. If I want to make them move. So that also means that maybe I just don't do that. And it just displays whatever the last thing was. Honestly, maybe what I should do is look at what... I never really paid attention to the scores in old games. Maybe I should just, like, pay more attention. What did it look like in older games? I think they just had a number that just increased. Like, there's nothing really applied to it. Nothing fancy. Oddly enough, the only one I can really think of is Dig Dug. Because Dig Dug, I don't know, it's just more interesting seeing the numbers you get for each creature you kill. Or like Galaga. Because it felt like the score mattered a little more in those games. They were directly arcade games. As opposed to like early NES games were using the score thing because arcade games had it, but they didn't really need it. It's actually, it is weird because it's a weird time for like, people are still adding scores into the games, but because it wasn't really an arcade experience, it was just kind of like a leftover thing. I guess the things I should look at is, let's look at Dino Wars, and then we can look at Jaws itself. I guess that would be a good place to start. Okay, let's go. I think with Dino Wars doesn't even have a score. Alright, never mind that. I thought you got points every time you killed something, though. No, you don't. Okay, well, I guess not all NES games had scores. What about Jaws? I played a bunch of NES games a while ago. I can look at those. Score equal money. I've already got kind of like something you collect for loot. So, honestly, taking the score is just going to be, like, again, not really affecting the game at all. Other than, like, the ending. I actually can't find my video where I played NES games. That's weird. Oh, it's just back a lot farther than I thought. Okay, so we got like Metal Warriors. I guess I should swap scenes, huh? Alright, so like Metal Warriors. I didn't even have like a UI. But this is Super Nintendo. I guess this is kind of actually later than what I'm thinking about. Alright. NES stuff. Double Dribble. No, I didn't really have a score either. Maybe it wasn't as common as I thought it was. Dr. Mario has one. And they have like a top score thing, and it just increases up. Yeah, in the most standard way, basically. And it just comes up, counts up. Alright, here's Jaws. This is what my game's based on. So you had like the number pop up when you got it. I think the score is actually underneath my name, which is less than ideal. Because all the UI's on the bottom of Jaws. Yeah, I think the score's right here, so we won't actually get to see anything other than what the numbers look like when you kill things. And actually the score doesn't even pop up every time. I think it's when you collect items. It'd be nice if I collected an item here soon. I keep shooting Jaws. There we go. It's just a number that pops up. Okay, it's very simple. Is there anything else on here? We did Milan's Secret Castle. It's just got, yeah, the score is, well, no, money is kind of its own thing in this one. Not really even a score. That's not really a good example. Okay, here's something more what I was thinking. Like Section Z. You got a score at the top. I think every time you kill something, yeah, it just kind of rises. I don't think it's displaying it on the killed units. I think unless you get like a big score up, that's what it'll display it. That makes sense. So, anytime you get something that's worth a lot of score, you see it. God, this game's brutal. See all those bullets just trapping me in? Anything else in here? We got Skate or Die. It's got a score, but yeah, okay, they're all really simple. Alright. So that didn't really give me much. I don't want it to be that simple, I don't think. I mean, come on, it's like 2022. I want to show how far we've progressed. So I should at least come at it with a little bit of effort. But I'm kind of making it up on my own. I kind of feel like I want to think about this whole score thing a little harder. Is there a way to make it more engaging, right? That's kind of like the whole problem with the score. Like, what made scores fun? Let's just break it down. Scores were fun when you're in an arcade and basically you're just directly competing with other people, right? So in a way, we've got scores in games today, but they're more like ranks, or they're like times, you know, completion times, things like that. It's kind of like how it's evolved. I mean, there's stuff like global leaderboards, but when you start doing things that are networking, it gets a little too much. I don't know if I want to go approach that kind of task. It might not be too hard to set up like a leaderboard. I don't like leaderboards though. When you're fighting against the whole world, it's not like your local arcade, right? I never felt like I even stood a chance against most leaderboards. Though it is fun when you actually do wind up on one and you're like, hell yeah. Either that means I'm really good or nobody's playing this game. It's usually the latter, right? But is there any other like angle to approach scores? See, that's why I kind of thought the idea of being able to get like a really bad score just sounded fun. Because all of a sudden it becomes like the fun of it is getting something decent, right? So basically, I'm kind of like setting up in my head. It's like, okay, you're at the arcade and you're playing one of these games like that, and you can see like the top scores, and you're really close to like beating one and knocking them off. So you can kind of get that same feeling from a single player thing by just making it to where getting that positive score and getting like a good grade is good. Actually, I think about it, like games like Bayonetta, and they have like scores at the end. They're more like grades. It's basically what I'm trying to do. But honestly, another reason I have the score is if it would maybe encourage speedrunning, because you can also add like the aspect of you're speedrunning for time, but also the better score you get, it just also makes your speedrun even more impressive, right? So I think scores are kind of good for that reason. To where, yeah, I completed the game in this much time and I beat your score. So I kind of like that idea, or that angle for it. Which I think it was thinking about that is what made me wanted to add it. It's just an extra little thing. I didn't think it would be, I mean, the whole point is though that it's not difficult to add it, right? So if I'm spending too much time on it, kind of defeating my own purpose. Also, at negative 100 is going to put it off the screen. I don't know what the hell I was thinking here. I was thinking X minus 100? I don't know what I was thinking. It's supposed to be at 100. I'm glad I caught that. Alright, so I'm thinking I want to show like what gives you score, right? Because like for example, we're looking at Section Z, the NES game a little bit ago, and the score was just like increasing, but we don't know what was affecting the increases. Especially because you don't ever see the score unless you get like a certain threshold of it. So I think it's important to be able to see what you're getting, so people know that anytime they miss a shot, they're actually losing points, or anytime they miss an item. So I do need to figure this out. I think it's going to be very simple. It's just going to be the score displayed, and then I'm going to have to find a way to add to it. I don't want to do this as... Actually, could I do this as a particles? Now that I think about it, that's the way to do it. If I turn on my score into particles, then it becomes very simple to do. And it's drawn by the GPU and not the CPU. That makes a lot more sense. And then I can have it do whatever the heck I want. Any sort of fancy stuff. Oh yeah, okay, that's the way to do it. I'm gonna have to come up with like a whole particle system for this. And I'm gonna have to draw the particle. Oh, yeah, that is the negative side is if it's particles, I don't think I can make fonts particles. Never actually thought about that. Because if I do like different languages, they're not all ones and, you know, not everybody's one looks the same. That makes things a lot more difficult. Yeah, it's true. Where did I do particles? It was, initialize particles. So particles are based off sprites. I don't think you can make a particle based off of font. I mean, that would make it easiest if I could do that. Dot Lua. Let's see. I mean, it seems like it's going to be based off of some sort of sprite. Absolutely certain this wouldn't work. Yeah, I can't like specify it. That wouldn't work. I mean, doing it based on a particle would be the best thing, but the problem is they don't have to be sprites to do it that way. So I guess I have to use the CPU to do it. Maybe I do just create more objects. I mean, it's the easiest thing to do. Then I can just say if an object exists. All right, I guess that's true. It makes things the simplest that every score up is just its own object. It's not going to be very well optimized, but I don't think I need to worry about optimization too much at the moment. My game's still pretty simple. Though I have been getting some frame rate issues. Honestly, there's not too much that's going to be added to the game from here on out though, right? There's just UI. I was thinking of maybe adding light rays, which might be an extra bit of objects. I was also thinking of adding maybe like ripple effects through shaders, because that would look nice on the explosions if there's like a ripple that goes out. I think that's it though. Well, we basically reached, what I'm thinking of is like, whatever optimization is, we basically reached it. So adding a couple more objects probably won't hurt anything. Yeah, I could do something like that. Use like wind. Make this score. I don't remember how to use wind. Okay, apparently, what happened to win? Am I spelling win wrong? Oh, it's with. With. And then I just tell the score what to do. And we create the score object. Oh, but we have to say if instance exists. Otherwise, we're going to get an error. So this way we can tell this object what it's supposed to do. We can also change what our score size is in here. And then we just do else. This would be a simple way to do this. And then you gotta copy this stuff in. I don't know what the default size is supposed to be just yet. Let's do like 18 and 16, but that's probably not going to be right. That'll just be our start. So it'll be like slightly larger when there's a score being tracked, and when there's no score, it will set back to default. So it should hopefully give it like a little bit of movement anytime something's happening. And then I can just track what the score is actually doing when I create it. And I just create it anytime I apply it. Honestly, I feel like this isn't the best way to do this though, because I need to like track what the number is through this code, and that doesn't seem ideal. Actually, it seems like a better idea to make this a parent object, and then I can just have whatever object comes out is going to set what the number it actually is. That's probably a better way to do this. So this would be more like parent score. Just wondering if this is even going to be worth the effort. Okay, what would all this be classified as? I think it's part of the UI. I don't really have like a UI folder yet. Probably look into that, because we're kind of getting into that territory now. Honestly, I don't even think I need to do all this. I want to get better at drawing sprites. I don't know, that's something I've always been pretty good at. Or, I mean, I've gotten better at it, but that's not something I felt was difficult, right? It was all the other stuff for me. Learning programming. Though I wasn't very good at animation when I started game dev. So I definitely did. I just wanted to get better at animation though, so it wasn't difficult, right? So I'm not gonna do this. Alright, how do I do this? I know what I'm looking for. It's something to do with why start. Well, what kind of sprites do you want to do? Want to do pixel art? A lot of people doing pixel art. Personally, I like high def stuff, and it's easier. I don't know. You can say it's not as hard. I think a lot of people do pixel art because they find that the high def stuff would be harder, but it's really not. I think people choose pixel art and they don't really consider that they don't have to. I think it's going to be easier, but I don't think that's necessarily true. But then high def art does take more time usually. But pixel art can be pretty like demanding on its own, especially if you want it to look really good. Because it's a lot of like fine-tuned manipulation, right? While when I do my sprite work, it's usually fairly simple, right? I just draw the lines and what I want it to do. Yeah, like, here's all the sprites for Gravitas. Most of them, at least. They're all relatively simple. Really, I'm just drawing an image once. Like most of the fish, I'm drawing an image once and then just moving what the tail looks like to get an animation, or doing some squash and stretch on it. And then sometimes I'm just doing like an actual technical animation frame by frame. The whole point of making this game was to make things very simple though. So I was trying not to over blow it or whatever. So it might look a bit difficult, but unless it's like a frame by frame animation, which I did for some of the bigger ones, most of it's actually very simple. Like this is just, I'm not animating this, I'm squashing and stretching the front and the back. This I'm just kind of like, yeah, doing it through digital art, marquee tools. I don't have all the sprites on this one. This is the old one. I had like a bunch of new sprites added to the right side here. This is most of the stuff. I'm thinking I might redo these explosion effects. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't be redoing any art. I should just say screw it. Good enough. No. I use Clip Studio. Clip Studio is a program, you buy it once and you just own it for life. It's a lot better than Photoshop in my opinion. But then again, you know, there's people who fight me over that. But personally, I just hate monthly subscription model. You know, whatever. If I'd have paid for Photoshop, I would be like, God, I don't even know. I'd probably have spent $2,000 on Photoshop by now. Meanwhile, I spent, what, 200 bucks on Clip Studio? I don't even think it's that expensive. It might be like 100 bucks. I don't remember. And you get like a full program. It's actually very good. So I think it's totally worth it. But there's lots of free stuff too. There's like Krita is one that I know about that's supposed to be pretty good. There's GIMP. GIMP's actually pretty decent. Actually, GIMP can do some stuff that Clip Studio can't even do. Like exporting GIFs with transparent backgrounds. Clip Studio can't do that. Or at least not in the recent updates. I don't know if they fixed that. I don't know, I think I got pretty lucky. I saw someone using Clip Studio. At first I thought Clip Studio was just for like, it's marketed as for just being like, for manga, right? Because it's a Japanese program. So it's just supposed to be for manga artists to make their little comic panels and stuff. But it's a very powerful program. It can, I think they're starting to like market it in a different way because they realize that they probably didn't appeal to Americans by just doing manga stuff. But no, it's totally capable of doing anything you want, basically. Alright, so what am I doing here? I want to figure out if the Y changes from Y start a certain amount. Okay, so I just say if Y plus, I don't even know. No, okay, if Y is less than Y start minus 100. 100 might be too much. That's not a minus. Just to make this the simplest the score could be. Can I do pluses in here? I cannot do pluses. That's annoying. I guess we'll do +1, P1. Fine. Should I add the score before or after it does its thing? It would be easier if it's before. I could also make the alpha fade off. There's a couple things I can do. I just want to see it, the basics of it. I think it would help me if I can see what I'm trying to do. And then usually that helps. Like if you can't really figure out what you want to do, it's good to just get the basics in. And then once you can see it, you might have ideas of like, okay, it would be nice if it did this, if it did that. So if I just do like the bare bones of it, would probably help. Okay, so I'll look for this object, this parent score object. If it exists, then we'll change what our sprite looks like. I'll probably need to like offset this a bit, kind of like I do for menus. But those numbers change depending on what size it is, and I don't know what size it's supposed to be yet. We'll do that in a second. But this should be good. Oh, I need to think, do I want the color to change? Like maybe it lights up anytime. I could also do something where like it changes one color if you get a positive score, it changes another score if you lose. But that gets kind of complicated. I think it's all better if it's just the same color. So let's not worry about that. Also, I'm drawing the score at all times and I don't want that to happen. So probably should do something about that. We want to say if okay. Yeah, I gotta do it separately. I found the best way to put myself in the correct areas is to just look for O player or O shit, because then you'll be in an area where you're actually affecting the score, and it's better than looking for anything else. Because I don't want the score to draw any other place at the moment, just in stages and on the world map. The world map, it'll probably have to be in a different place too, so I might have to change this depending on which one it is. I don't know, that'll be the basics of it. We should be able to at least look at it. Oh, though I didn't do anything to actually create score, I should do that. So it's got to draw stuff. That's it. I created objects, but I didn't set them to have sprites. Okay, cool. Well, I can look at it and just see if it's in the right spot at least. It's not even being drawn. Okay, that's a failure. Oh, there it is. Was it in the previous screen? It's not, but it's here. And it's definitely not in the right place. That's weird, because technically, oh ship should exist. So it should be drawing this. That's confusing. Also, again, I should check and see what the X and Y coordinate is. I keep forgetting that. Another thing, the score's not changing. I guess I haven't set up anything to do with the score yet. Because technically the score is set to like 9999 in this one, just as a test. So that's what the score should be if I had set it up right. But yeah, it should be popping up here because we do have the O ship on the world. We've got the controller object, but it's not drawing it. Oh, I know what it is because I never set it up. It's up here. There it is. Right, I never set it up to be based on where the camera is, which is another more complicated thing. Yeah, that's not good. We don't want the score to always be right there, right? So, yeah, I'll fix that. And then going in stage, yeah, this is definitely not where I want it. I want it to be, I don't know how big the UI is, but it's probably somewhere like in here. I want this to be at like, let's do 260 because I like whole numbers. 260 and 25 probably would look better. Don't I need to set every object? You mean creating my score? Technically all these objects I'm working with are things that are in the game besides this one right here. I haven't put this in yet. But this is my my mouse, and it's also the thing that controls like keyboard keys. All of my different keyboard things are calculated through this. So I've kind of been using this as kind of like a universal controller object. It just turned into that. Right. So this coordinate needs to be based off of... I don't know if there's an easy way to actually put it based off the viewport. There might be. But I can also just make it move based on camera. But the problem with that is I've got several cameras that I use. So I have to find like what camera we're using. Yeah, we have camera and we have world map camera. It's only the two. Actually, probably not that big a deal. I could also... I think it would be better if I went ahead and split these up, because I think I'm going to have to do that anyway. And then I'll know which one it is based on which object exists. So let's do that. We won't put that here. We'll just do that little bit in this here. So, alright. Probably could have copy pasted that, but whatever. Alright, so things with this will be... Honestly, I don't even have to do anything like this, right? I can just throw this on the end. Now that I know that that's what we're looking for, and now we just make it based on the camera object. But the camera object's X is in the middle of the screen. So I'm gonna have to do some math here. Alright, so my default view is 1920. I should know this by heart by now, but what's half of 1920? 960. Alright, so we want 960. Oh, 260 works really well here. So it's just 700. Minus 700 should get us to where I want to go. Alright, and the other one would be 1080 is a lot easier. It's 540. Alright, so 540, but it's going to be plus the 25, so, or minus the 25. That's 515. That's not right. There we go. That should put it where it's supposed to be, I think. So I'm going to have to copy this. I can't do like an else statement because I don't want it to actually draw unless one of these two things is true. So if it's oh ship, we'll just use the same coordinates for it, but we know we're using the W camera on this. Alright, and now we can get rid of all this. And I gotta copy this. Alright, as we put it in the right place, let's take a look. Alright, it doesn't show up here, so that's good. And there, it's where it's supposed to be. It might be down a little bit too much, but it's kind of hard to tell. I think it's basically in the right spot. So until I get the UI in, I'll move it later. But that should be about right in the top left corner there. And this one should be the exact same. And it'll follow. It's not like this screen doesn't change, but if I went into a screen that actually did go deeper, then it should follow us with the rest of the UI. This is actually figuring out what the UI is supposed to be as well for later on. Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to do is I thought about making it to where the lights don't just like cut on, but gradually cut on. I might want to address that as well, because I've been thinking about it, but I haven't actually done it yet. I just don't know if I like it like flicking on like a light bulb. I think it would be better if it just slowly increased. I think I want to do something different with the splash thing as well. It looks pretty good, but I want it to like actually have, it needs more juice, right? Juice is the term. I want it to cause like a big ripple. It would be nice if it caused like some color or something that extends to the top of the water to actually make the splash look more legitimate. It looks fine if it's directly on it, but kind of weird if it's just below it. Oh, oops. Alright, let's create some score. So the way to do this would be, I think, using our bullets themselves. Okay, I'm not going to do the minuses yet, so technically not here. Parent bullet doesn't actually have any collision. Oh no, it's going to be all in the actual creatures themselves. There's a optimization thing to this, which I didn't know about when I did it, which I might need to look at now too. I don't quite remember what it was though. It's something like the few affect the many or the many affect the few. It's one of the two, which is kind of important. But basically, I want objects to refer to other objects as little as possible. I don't remember how it goes. I think I was good, that's why I didn't change anything. That's a big if, though. I don't quite remember how it goes. Yeah, okay, I kind of remember. It's like, for bullets, you have many on the screen, so if you're checking for collisions with bullets, you want the collision checks to be on the object that has the fewer of them on screen, so that it's like if every bullet's checking for a collision, that would slow down everything. But if every enemy, which is just like one or two enemies, is checking for a collision with all the bullets, yeah, so I think I am set up right to where it is better if the enemies are the ones checking for collisions. What's a method? A method. You don't know what method means? Or what I was just talking about? Yeah, I think I have to go through every single enemy and set this up now. Unfortunately. All of my parent bullet collisions is where I actually apply score. To be honest, I don't know what I just said. So, the method I was talking about for optimization, I just kind of explained it. To where you want the object that is the least amount in the room to be doing your collision checks. So, I mean, the most standard example would be, yeah, if you have an enemy object and you have lots of bullets, you want the enemy object to do the collision checks instead of all the bullets doing collision checks. Because collision checks cause like really bad performance. It'll like add up really high. So that's why I have my enemies doing collision checks. I think I just got lucky and I didn't really understand that when I was doing it. Like it, and at this case, it would be better if I just had it on the bullets themselves. You would think that, because it would be easier to change what the bullet does. But it's going to cause worse optimization. You were just asking in general what a method is, and then you Googled it. I have no idea. And it's not mattered. I made a whole game without caring. So I don't think it matters. Alright, anytime I do instance destroy, I just need to apply or create this new thing. Okay. Well, shit, now I want to know, because you brought it up. What is a method? I know what a function is. I gotta look it up now, because you made me aware of it. I mean, all you have to do is Google programming method, right? Method versus function, and it'll tell you what it is. In an object-oriented programming, a method is a programmed procedure that is defined as a part of a class and included in any object of that class. A class, and thus an object, can have more than one method. Kind of like parent objects, basically. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Not for what I do. Okay. Well, I know what a method is, but I'll never remember that. I probably shouldn't have applied this to the anglerfish first. If I want to do testing, I should do it on the salmon and the jellyfish. Let's do that. Because I really need to figure out what I want before going further. And honestly, I know this is going to put it on the creature itself, but I want to see if I want to actually do that. And if I don't, and also there should probably be other X otherwise, so it actually comes out where the bullet is. Alright, let's test that. I thought they were asking me something that I was just talking about. It's weird to just come in and ask about some random thing. I guess you could do that. I just, why not Google it? It's just strange. Right? Am I weird? I would just Google a question like that. Sounds a lot easier than going through a random Twitch. Oh, there's a 1. It moves pretty fast. You can't even see it here. Also, it moves up too much, but kind of doing what I want. I definitely don't want it to be on the enemies. It's too distracting. Also, I didn't do anything to actually change the size of it, or the font of it. Oh, but it is applying to the score up there. That's kind of nice. Oh, and you can see how it like popped out there? That was nice. So it is doing that. It's not set in the correct area. Oh, did I just get 2 points set? That means something's wrong with my collision if that's what's happening. I should technically only get the 1 point, right? That all looked correct. Yeah, I got 3 there. I should get 3 for every fish. That'll look good. Honestly, the score popping up for every shot's not that bad. It's just, it's a little weird. It's not really necessary. Kind of messy. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm really concerned about killing that jellyfish and it giving me 2 points instead of 1. Alright, third at 40. Only got 1 there. Did I shoot like 2 bullets back to back and both of them counted? Because I swear I saw that. Maybe I didn't see it right. So far it's been 1 for every single thing I've killed. Yeah, there was 2. I saw it. It happened. I'm not crazy. Why does it sometimes have 2 collisions? Oh, that's going to be a hard bug to replace. I don't get that, because if that was ever true, it would be creating like 2 explosions, right? I guess not technically. Oh, here we go. 1, 1. I felt like 2, but I didn't see it happen. I was thinking if like 2 bullets hit at the same time, which is very difficult to do. That was 2. Gonna mess up my whole score system if you get double points sometimes. It's also not great for optimization if we're getting 2 collision events. I mean, if it happens to jellyfish, it should technically be able to happen to salmon. I just haven't seen it yet. That was 3. That was 2. Okay, so I think what happens there is I had a bullet go out and then another bullet, and the way it had 2 collisions is the top of it like ran into the top of a bullet, right? Or the bottom of one. And then at the same time the other bullet hit. So we had 2 reacting at the same time. I didn't even know that was possible. I guess it would be possible. Oh yeah, because we're not ever like destroying. Oh, that's true. Okay, so it is possible. And the reason is when it collides with something, all it does is it sets this flash, it lowers the HP of this creature, and the speed goes to 0. It's going to create these explosions if the other one is bullets. It's going to create this score, which is actually going to increase the score. It's going to destroy the other object, whatever hit it. But yeah, it doesn't actually die until it goes through the step that kills it, which is somewhere in here. Oh, and this would be why, because it only dies if it's in the move state. So it was probably... I mean, technically it should always be in the move state now that I think about it. But okay, I think what happens is it is possible to get like 2 collisions that happen before the next step event. Right? That seems like so unlikely, but it had to happen over and over there. But yeah, once it knows that HP is less than or equal to 0, which this thing's only got 1 HP, it changes the state to equal dead. And the dead state, so I guess that gives it like a second frame, because actually it doesn't, because the second it goes through here, I don't know if it completes a step and then goes back to the top before doing dead. It might, in which case we got an extra step there. But then it runs through this, creates explosion. So we'll only ever get 1 enemy explosion for each collision. It'll reset this HP. Oh yeah, okay, and then it sets a state to equal spawn, which means it doesn't actually move for like 3 steps until the next move. So yeah, when you think about it, that's like out of 60. It's still like a fraction of a second, but it is technically possible to get multiple collisions that way. So yeah, there's a fraction of a second there to where maybe I should create the no, wait, yeah, this one is supposed to be whenever you hit a target, though, is when you get the points. So you could say 2 of your bullets are technically hitting a target. So you should probably get the score if it's destroying both of the bullets. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a little bit cheat that you're getting multiple bullet points for nothing. I guess you're getting it for hitting the target though. So we'll do a second one when I run the enemy explosion to where we get like the score for the killing the creature itself. And that one will only run the one time. I think this is really just a situation that applies to this rare circumstance. So does this matter? It's just funny. I've never seen this till now because I've never had it display. And I never really thought about that actually happens. I don't think it matters. I feel like I should do collisions from now on in step events. I used to do things like this, like setting these alarms up. But I kind of feel like setting alarms like this and doing collisions this way just kind of makes things a bit more complicated now. Like, it kind of feels like it's better to just have all of that in the step event and to figure out how to do your own events. I think it also means that there's less like jumping from the step event into a collision event and then back into a step event. I don't know if that affects, but I feel like it would be even better if you just had everything in your step or your create or your draw and do collisions. It's technically no different, right? Every step I'm searching for a collision with this bullet. So even if I put it in my step and just made this like several lines more, looking for that collision, it's no different than what it's already doing. It might even be better because it's doing it all in one place instead of in two different places. And if that was true, I could stop stuff like this from happening, to where it only interacts with one per step. So we'll end up destroying this object before it ever becomes an issue. I think that's just something I'm learning now. Alright, so I did find out that I don't like this coming out where it's coming out. I want it to be next to the score. Now I need to figure out, do I want it to be next to the score? The score is based off of where the first number is, but I think I need to move this over as the score gets larger. So it needs to be based off the string size of the score. Okay, luckily I can just use the camera in these cases. Alright, the place I want to be is based off of what I had before. This is way up here. Also, it was going up too far, so let's make that like 50. It's also going pretty fast, so I think 5 might be too much. Let's do 2. Okay. So the place we want to be is at 700 and 515. But it's 700 plus, and this is where we get complicated. And technically it's more than 700. It'd be the size of one of our things, so let's just do like 725 as a default. Alright, and then we want, I don't remember how to do string size. I think it's just string size actually. Or string width, something like that. String length. I don't know how this number works, but I think it's like that. Now, why are we getting an error? Oh, because no oil here. That's probably not what the error was. Maybe I can't actually use this as a number. I want to see what this actually looks like. Like if score is 0, this should equal 1, I think. And if I make score equal 10, it should equal 2. Yeah, right now it equals 1. Now it should equal 3. Yep, it equals 3, so that works the way I think it works. So what's going on here? Why am I getting an error? Unexpected syntax error. Doesn't really tell me what it is. This is the x coordinate, the whole thing. Oh, that would be why. We got an extra parentheses here. Okay, that was what it was. Alright, so this should work, but the problem here is it's only going to add 3, right? So it's going to be this times whatever, which is really like the size of our typical string of number. So like how big is a 0? And I think if the font size is 16 or 18, I should probably just do like 16 or 18. Let's do 18. Okay, so where this thing draws will be based on how large our score is. So once we get like larger scores, it'll still just be to the right of the score. I'm gonna have to test this a lot, but that should work. And put it where I want it to go. I'm gonna put it on both these creatures for testing. I'm also going to... Is there a way to like reorder windows? I think there's a hotkey for it and I don't remember what it is. Kind of annoying to drag this down. I could do that. Oh, don't do that. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to test it by default. I guess I need to figure out everything for the +1 point that I'm going to do before I do any of the other points. Like if I'm going to make any changes, it needs to be at this point. Alright, so the points are going up there, but wow, they're not in the right spot at all, are they? Kind of looks cool that it's popping out of the top of it, though. It's not what I had in mind. I wonder what went wrong with my math. Oh, I think I did plus instead of minus. That's what it was. So it's actually putting it over to the left instead of the right. That would explain that. Though it's not that bad coming out of it. I didn't really pay attention that it changed where it was either. Alright, let's fix that, because I think it's the wrong direction. Yes, I said plus. It's supposed to be minus. We want to go further right as this number increases. Alright, let's try that again. That should put it more where I want it. I should also do something to change the way it changes size. I think the size of it might be correct. Feels about right. Oh, oops. I think it still needs to go up higher. I should fix that. Oh, wow. It's even worse in the wrong direction. What? Oh, okay. I guess it was supposed to be plus for everything. And instead I was backwards even more. Alright. I don't know my left from my right when it comes to numbers, apparently. Okay, so this is minus. But when I grew this number, oh, minus a bigger number would be the wrong direction, wouldn't it? So this was supposed to be 20. It's supposed to be 700. I was just supposed to be minus, so it's 675. That's what I did wrong. And then it's still, no, it is plus here. Plus brings it to the right. Okay. This one is also wrong then, right? Because honestly, why did I change this number? Did I change this number? I don't think I even changed that number. No, it's 515. Okay, so this needs to be higher, which means we want minus a bigger number. I don't know how much bigger I need to go, but let's just make it 25 because that's a nicer number anyway. And if we're going to make that 25, we're going to make this stuff 25. Also, that change that I just made has to be applied to this. 675 plus its string. Alright, let's see how that looks. Also, I should have done the offset, but I already hit play. See, I think I've got the correct number change between 18 and 16. I just need to look it up. It's somewhere in my options menu. Whenever I use that combination, I already figured out like what the offset's supposed to be. It looks like it could still go higher. I think it needs to be right at the top of the screen, basically. Probably another like 20. I didn't look at it. It's kind of hard to shoot stuff and pay attention. Oh wow, that's way in the wrong place. Oh yeah, I didn't change it when it grows. Crap. Everything's wrong. Okay. It still looks like it's not going quite in the right spot, even if it was right. It's because the size isn't right. Okay. The other part that I haven't done correctly here. And there are many parts. This part is where I was drawing it. Yeah, draw, set, font. Now it'll be the same size as the score. Alright, the other part. This needs to change as well. Oh, how did that happen? How did I go from here to there? I don't know. It was odd. Alright, but I said that wasn't enough, right? So let's go to 45. Alright, I think the score is in a good place now. It's just off the top of the screen. Maybe it could be a little lower actually. Maybe I take the 5 off of it and call it done. Alright, what about the other part of this though? Is it going to be in the right place? Oh, golly. Man, the way it grows is totally weird. That means I definitely need to bring it off the other one if I'm going to make it grow, now that I think about it. It should really be based off of the larger size. Honestly, I should all put this on a hotkey and start using the test room again. It would make this kind of thing a lot easier to test. I guess it's okay. It's really weird that the loot changes, but I know why that is. The loot was just like some old thing that I need to get rid of. Alright. Let me do some tweaking here. I think the best thing I can do is set both of these to be 18 so I can get the correct location, and then when I shrink it to 16 later, I make sure I do the offset here. But I really need to do everything based on the largest of the sizes. And I feel like 5 is actually not going to be enough now. Wow, that's a weird way to spell instance. Honestly, now I'm thinking about it. Everything I'm doing here is dumb. I should just have the object, when it's created, put itself where it's supposed to be. I guess that's not necessarily true. If I'm creating it and I want it to actually appear where it appears, I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Actually, I really should just set it up here. Now it doesn't matter where I make it. It'll just go where it's supposed to go. Makes it easier to edit too. I guess I should do the same thing with depth. Make it be whatever the standard depth would be. Equals -999. Okay. Now if I press left mouse button right now, it would actually break. So I can't do that. I can do it here. Oh, did I do it wrong? If I press left mouse button, it should be actually increasing the score. But okay. Wow, it like creates and instantly destroys itself. What happened there? Yeah, it's disappearing like way too fast now. Oh, because of the Y start. I didn't think about that. I didn't know that's how that works. So if you change the Y position, the Y start actually doesn't update. That's really weird. But I guess that's true. You'd think the Y start would be based on where it is in the creation event. But yeah, this thing isn't, it's setting on where it was created, not what it is afterwards. Can I change this and be like Y start equals Y? I could also set this as like a variable, but it seems dumb. I don't know. Let's just try that. I don't know if you can actually update Y start. Also, I didn't really figure out why I can't create the score with the mouse button. Could have done that too. Alright, well that did fix it. So you can do that. Put it down. And I'm dead. Why is the left mouse button not working? If left pressed, it should create this. Why wouldn't that work? What? Is it because I'm... Oh, maybe it's because I'm... I didn't know that happened, but I guess I can't do it this way. Because I'm actually like, this is the object that judges key presses, so... Yeah, but no, that shouldn't have anything to do with... This is weird. I mean, I do check for like left mouse button in here. And I set it to like, oh no, this is like between 0 and 1, right? No, yeah. So technically, this left press should still be getting detected. And if it's pressed, then it should create this object. I don't know why this isn't working. I could just set it to something else. Can I edit this? Change event to be key press. I don't care. Anything else? A letter? G? Sure. You press G, you get points. And I don't use G for anything else, so that should still work, right? G. Okay, cool. It works now. I can test it. Makes it easier to see when it moves over. It's actually too far now. right? It's like, it doesn't need to be that far away from the number. Oh, crap. Ah! I panicked. Panicked horribly. There we go. Gee. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna see what happens when I get to 100. Also, we're not getting any lag, really. Right? You can see the frames, and we're getting, like, lots of points, right? So it's kind of like a stress test. I think the number's too far over. Which now it's easier to edit that, because I just change it here. So... I just want to set this to be... I mean, if I guess 25 is too much. But... I don't know, let's do 95. I feel like that would be too little. I said 412 already. I feel like I've barely accomplished anything. What have I been doing with all this time? I've just been thinking. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes the design part actually takes time. You don't really think about it. Alright, that looks better. I'd like to create it a little lower, actually. Because it kind of looks like it starts in the middle. I mean, we are getting kind of red. It's really just because there's a lot of fish on screen. I think the fish are actually objects. So this one's a pretty object-intensive one. Okay, it updates pretty well though. See how like the ones are a little bit farther out. I think it should just be lower and then we'll basically have what we want. So this y minus 40 needs to be more. We do 50, but I feel like it... Let's do 555. Call 555. 90210. That's too many numbers. No, I went higher. Am I crazy? Do I not know how it works? What was it before? It was 40. Minus 40. Oh yeah, okay. I guess if this number's lower, it would be closer to the center. Alright, other way. 30. So 25 then? Honestly, I don't know if I'm still sure about all this score thing. Okay, too low. But better. So I guess the extra 5 I added was too much. Do micro changes. Still too low. $30. That looks better. I just want to kind of like stress test this and put it up to like, if this number gets hugely big. It seems like the 18 plus 18 or times 18 is giving it enough to add in an extra character. But yeah, at this point I'd have to press it 1,000 times to get the next one. Alright, yeah, let's stress test that real quick. And I pressed the wrong button. There we go. So we're going to go to this, create, throw this here. Probably keep this here for a while I test. Alright, that's a pretty big score. And if I press it once, we'll get one more. So that should be a pretty good indicator if this will continue to grow correctly at these numbers. That's a correct score. Okay, press G. Well, yeah, it's basically where it's supposed to be. It's good to see that the numbers go really big. We got 1,000,000 points! I like the little numbers just kind of like pinging off. So every little increase you get looks a little different. Like I could set up something to where anytime you get like a score above 1, like if it was 10, it would just count each number up by 1 or something. I don't know. Just to make it look like more arcadey. Though we just checked out arcadey stuff and they just directly changed the number. Also, to test this properly, I really need something smaller. We'll keep it at that for now. Alright, so we got a number to adjust. We want to change the score itself. Alright, so take this back to 16 and figure out what this is actually supposed to be. 18 and 16. I've done this in a button somewhere. I'd just like to go find the button and see what I did before. So, I don't know. It's not like a standard one. But it might have been in one of these like longer ones. This uses 18. But it didn't actually change. I don't feel like my number changed that much before, like from 20 to 18. Okay, this is a good example. So this is plus 10 on the smaller one and plus 3. I think whatever it is, it's going to be very similar to that. Plus 10 and 3. Let's start with that and then just adjust it. So, yeah. This one would just be... Which way does this go? Alright. To be plus 10 here would be... It's just a smaller number, right? That's what I want to say. Like, if I'd said plus 10 to this negative number, then yes, it would be 690. Okay, I think I'm right. 690. That's not 690. I don't know what happened there. Also, nice. Alright, and 3. So it's actually minus 3. So 37. Alright, so hopefully that should give it more of a centered sort of pop. But the numbers are a little bit smaller, so it might not be correct. But it'd be close. I haven't noticed the mic turning off, so maybe updating OBS did help with that. I might be speaking too soon. It's kind of like the mic was only turning off once every couple hours, so it's hard to say that for certain. Alright, if I did this right, when I apply the score, it should kind of like pop more in the middle. Not right. It needs to go. I mean, it's close. I think it just goes too far. What is it? The small number is too far to the right, is what it is. Right. And the up and down's not quite right either. The small number needs to be up more. Okay, so we want to go up and to the left. Up and to the left. So to go up, we would need to increase this number. Let's just go to 38, 1 pixel. And then to go to the left, we want to get closer to our 700. So is 5 too much? Let's just go with 5. I never beat this game. This is Bastion. It was a fun game. I just like stopped it in the middle of playing it. And you know how that is. You have to like start all over again, I feel. I'd like to beat this game. I do remember it being pretty good while I was playing it. I love the song, obviously. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I actually think it needs to be lower now, right? Because it looks like the top doesn't really change as much as the bottom does. How is neither one of them right? Okay, the left-right is perfect, I think. But the up-down... I kind of wish it didn't increase that much either. It kind of like gets a lot bigger. I guess that's fine. I also feel like the number... Oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen. It caused my error. I mean, that'll never happen in-game. Yeah, now we're like too far up. Go back down. Yeah, I don't have anything between 18 and 16. So I really, unless I want to make another font, which I really don't want to. I don't think I'm gonna mess with that. Oh, I was thinking that the numbers need to delete faster. So to do that, I had to change the parent one. So instead of 50, try 40. As long as it, I want it to get almost completely off the screen before it deletes. But this will make it to where the number's not popped out as long, because it's only popped out while this object is on the screen. That looks about right. I actually think it was better what we had before. Kind of better if the top, I think, maybe. I think that's kind of nice. It also is a lot lower now. I've just noticed. Right? It looks the same. I don't know. Was the number getting spawned a little too small, too low? Did I change something? Maybe because I moved the size of it. Oh, it's because when you move up, oh, right, because the Y coordinate is not based on, okay, I know what's going on. If you move up, the number actually moves down because the Y is changing. See? That's weird. Okay. I think I can fix that. That Y needs to be kind of based on the player's Y. Or it's got to be based on the camera's Y. Which can't really do here. I wanted a score that worked for both screens, but I mean, I could do this. I hate doing this like if instance exists thing constantly. But how much does it actually matter? Actually, instead of doing oak player, I can just... No, it'd probably do oak player. So I just want to say, oh, camera. Why? Minus the 960. It is 960, right? I've already forgotten. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, it is it's 960. Okay, I'm doing this totally wrong too. Y equals O camera Y. Yeah, I can't do it this way, can I? -2. But that's always going to set it to the same thing. So I got to be like, actually a lot more complicated than I thought. This is why you would set it to a GUI, I think, so that it just updates depending on where it's supposed to actually be on the camera. I'm kind of doing it the hard way. Okay, so I guess it's just Y plus O camera Y minus 960, which should be in parentheses. And then we're subtracting 2 from it every time. Is that going to be correct? No, it's going to constantly add this number to it. I need to do like, I need to set up like a Y offset or something, so that Y offset's constantly applied. Yeah, the hard part here is it's created at the correct place, but I needed to update based on where it's supposed to be in relation to its place on the camera, but then it's also got to subtract 2 from that. But if I do it this way, it's going to constantly add its camera thing to what the Y is, which already has the camera on it. So I can't do it this way. I just don't know how to do it the correct way. Oh, I know. Okay, I know what to do. So, well, I know what to do. I just don't know how to get there. I guess one thing I can do, instead of doing this -2, I just make this a number that grows. That would be one thing to do. I couldn't use Y start anymore. I just had to set whatever this number is once it reaches a certain amount. I can do this without... Alright, so it would be like basically what I have here. But instead of this -2, it would just be minus Y offset or something. And we just change this Y offset to be a growing number. And then we say if Y is... No, we just say if Y offset equals 40. Or -40 in this case. Well, if I'm saying equals is a good way to get an error. Or a leak. So if it's less than or equal to. And I don't need this plus anymore. But now I can say, okay, so the Y is always going to equal this. It's going to be based on where the camera is. But we're going to be subtracting this number, which is growing. And then once that number reaches a certain point, it's basically going to do the same thing. But now it's going to actually move with our camera. But now I got to apply this Y offset as part of my creation. But I was already doing this Y start. We don't need to use it anymore. So we just apply it here. It's not really changing much. Equals 0. Also, the Y should probably equal what I have up here. Oh yeah, Y, I was doing X, so that's wrong. It's going to be 530, because that's where we created it. Okay, I think that'll fix all that problem. Well, it's going in the wrong direction. That's a good start. But it is updating correctly, regardless of my movement. Okay, everything's good, but it's supposed to go up, not down. So... Oh, because I say minus, well, all I have to do is say plus here, or I reverse all my numbers. Now let's say minus, we'll do plus equals, and then 40 greater than or equal to. So we're still subtracting, but now we got positive numbers here. It's a little bit easier to manage. I think I'm going to do this real quick. I think, look, this is small enough that I can just throw it all on the same line. It'll look a little cleaner. Also, why am I getting an error? Oh, there's an extra equals here. Did I put an equals there? That's weird. So the creation code here, it's based on the camera. I mean, I don't know, do I just like set this up? I guess so. Like, we do get score in certain overworld things, but I think I can do it based on each different point. Like, the majority of it happens in normal stages. But there's a few things like, honestly, none of the stuff that I have at the top. It's later on. Anytime you reveal a new area, you get score, and anytime a certain amount of time passes, you lose score. So those will be the only two that really apply on the world map. Yeah, so for the majority of it, it will be old camera, but there's the occasional one where it's based off this camera. So I'll just do it based on the W camera when it's necessary. It just means I can't press the G key or it's going to crash the game. Alright. That's correct. Still feel like it kind of creates it a little too low, just like a couple pixels too low. But now it's actually updating with the camera's position. I'm going to create it just a little bit higher. So instead of the 530, needs to be a little more. Let's do like 532. I didn't think I'd spend so much time on score. Again, that's kind of a theme with the whole game dev thing. Honestly, I've spent a lot more time though. I gotta make this bigger just so I can see it. I think that looks a little better. I want it to be kind of like coming right out where the bottom of this line is. That just looks a little closer. Alright, I think that's fine. Is there anything else I want to change before I start going further than that? No, I crashed again because I kept pressing G. I should probably just... It's an easy thing to fix. It won't be a problem when I actually do the game, but for testing, I just need to throw in like... another one of these. There we go. If a camera exists, create that thing. I can't accidentally crash the game. I was thinking of something. I got distracted by that. Oh, I was thinking that whenever I do the minus, which I haven't really. Let's set up a minus now. We've done a plus. Let's do a minus. So it's the exact same thing as this. Well, instead of +1, it's going to be -1. All this will be the same. We're just changing this to minus. I could have it like come out of a different place so that it's easier to differentiate. But what I was thinking of doing is just making this the second color, so that it is a different color, but it's still a color that the player has approved of for color blindness. So they'll be kind of similar, but hopefully they're just different enough that you can tell them apart. But all this is still the same. Alright, let's do a minus. So for the minus, I was just thinking if you miss a bullet or you hit a wall, this would be a good chance to make this. Alright, so I gotta do this like I did this. Pretty simple actually. We're just creating it anywhere because it sets up where it's supposed to be on its own. Alright, so like here, we do this, but instead of plus, we do go copy. Alright, so if your bullet hits the wall, we'll go ahead and set up all these. I think this is the only one that actually applies to bullets. So I might as well do them all. There's also if it goes off the screen and gets destroyed. So if you shoot a bullet and you miss a target, but the stage ends before the bullet actually destroys itself, I'm not going to count like the point as a miss. I'll just let the player get that. But yeah, anytime like this, I also want to create this instance, which is a little more complicated here. I gotta bracket it. But any of these situations counts as a miss. Alright, so we can see what misses look like. Start losing some points. Actually, I probably should have kept it the normal. Whatever. There you go. There's some ones, but they didn't actually display the minus part. Did I not? Oh, it's there. It's just very hard to see the minus. It's super hard to see the minus here. I can see it, but it's really not clear. For a font that's all about readability, it is really difficult to see the minuses. I do think I like the idea of maybe the score changes to the other color if you ever get a negative. Instead of always popping out and being yellow. That would be another thing to display. I don't know, let's just try it. I'm a little disappointed in the readability of the minus part, but can't really do anything about that. It's definitely got the minus in there. There's nothing really that's a substitution for minus either. Like I could try the squiggle line. I don't even know what that squiggle line's called. Maybe it'll look more like a minus than an actual minus. Might as well give it a shot. I also want to look at the score itself. So I was thinking about changing the color. I'd have to set up like a different parent object for that though. Like there'd have to be one for positive score and one for negative score basically. I mean, that's technically possible. I think I'm gonna do that. It's a lot of work for something I might not even keep, but okay, why not? I mean, it's fairly simple to do. Do like negative score and make this part of negative score instead. Like all the other stuff will behave the same way. And now we can actually check if we got a positive or a negative. It's kind of weird to do this if we're going to check again to see what color we're doing. Alright, I'm just going to separate this out. Even though it's making this code way longer. I don't even know if I'm going to use this, so I might as well just do it this way. Change the color of everything. Though it's only the first part of the color. So I don't even need the else here. But this part does need to change. Oh, but in this way, the negatives do overwrite the positives. Right, because the negative's on bottom. The order actually really matters here. I think what I'll do is go like, yeah. Actually, maybe there isn't a way to get around what I was doing before. And this is a lot of work for something I might not keep. Alright, so if it's a negative score, it'll be this color. If it's a positive, it'll be that color. But the negative score seems to overwrite the positive. I think I want this to be the other way, in fact. So if positive score exists, Really, I just changed the numbers. Everything's mouse click, God. Aggravating. Alright, so positives are more important than negatives in this case. I was trying to like stack them up and get like what it looks like if you're getting both happening at the same time. Yeah, it's a little weird. Do I like that? Do I even like the idea of a score? I don't know if I want to like... I like the idea of having an accuracy score. Also, I do like that you can see the wavy line a lot better than a minus sign. For some reason, the wavy line is just huge and the minus sign is tiny. But it still looks a little weird. I don't know. I think it detracts from just holding down the left mouse button or the fire button. Like, it's like I'm telling the player I don't want them to hold the fire button because they're constantly losing score with every miss. It's just kind of like against the game design, right? I think it could be fine as long as I'm not... I think I might be drawing like too much attention to the fact that you're losing points for every missed shot by making it like change colors. Like, if I'm gonna do this, I don't want to make it look like it matters that much, right? Like, it's just a score. And it shouldn't really, like, affect you just holding the button. Ah! Because overall, you're going to get way more points than you're going to be losing points from misses, is the idea. The misses are just supposed to be like a very small negative that might add up over time. If you're going for like min-max, you'll want to make all your shots count, basically. That's kind of like how I want to get it. I want to make it be like, I want people to learn how many shots it takes to kill a salmon, so it takes 3. And to fire exactly 3. Yeah, see, that was 4. And I just want to reward people who, 1, 2, 3, who are really good at that, right? Wait, that was 6 shots, wasn't it? Oh, I think it's hard to do because, yeah, you can't shoot out more than 4 at a time, though. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I should draw more attention to it for missed shots, basically. Outside of the little red number that pops up. Because I don't want people to really care that much about losing score. But honestly, once you're playing for a while, you're probably not even going to look at the score and what's happening up there. Yeah, see, I missed a couple shots there, but they weren't counted against me. Okay, so yeah, I don't like this. At least we figured that much out. How do I fix it though? I gotta go back a bunch. It's actually, I've done a lot of stuff that changed that little thing. I can get rid of the whole parent that's in score. Delete that. Set this back to be normal score. There we go. So it's always a yellow pop out. Oh yeah, and I need to change this. Although that was easier to see, I'm gonna keep it like this. Maybe I'll just do like 2 minuses. I don't know if that'll make it more obvious. You know what I could do actually? This is gonna be nuts, but totally possible now that I think about it. I can make it a little more obvious. I just need to do this. Draw that negative at -1 or -2. And that should probably underline the negative that we've already got. I think 2 might be too much. Let's take a look at that. I don't want it to be an equal sign, right? But 2 pixels should be low enough that it makes that minus actually look a little bit bigger. It's a little bit easier to see. It definitely doesn't look like an equals, but yeah, you can definitely see that it's minus now, right? I think it's a little clearer. I still feel like the numbers get a little too large when there's a change in score. I like it. It looks okay. Thinking like, what else do I want to do? Do I want to change anything with it? I was thinking about putting the minuses and the pluses in different spots as well, instead of like on top of each other. Like, they don't even really match up anyway. And I think that's because a plus is bigger than a minus in ODLX. Which is, that's strange. I kind of feel like you could even put a space after the minus to get the 1 to be in the same spot. Alright. It's like right in between. It's so weird. I feel like a space is going to be too much. Let's try and put a space there. To at least get the ones to match for the start of the number. Oh, now it's too far. Spaces are huge. Spaces are huge and minuses are tiny. I mean, I could just like move it over a bit with the X. I guess so. Let's do like +5. Alright, that's basically it. I need to go over just a little bit more. Like maybe another pixel or two. Honestly, kind of hard to figure out, but I think another one. Also press the wrong button again. And why that keeps happening. I don't know, let's try 6. I'm really just doing this as I stall out and think about this more. I'm just really stalling. Not sure if I'm happy with the whole idea. I feel like I just needed to think about scores in general more. It was just an idea that I was thinking about without really knowing what I was doing. Oh yeah, if the number grows, it doesn't actually change in between. It doesn't change what the previous one was. And another like 0.1 and we'll be just about perfect. Like, I'm thinking of a couple things I could do. I could have like an explanation for why you got -1. I could put like miss next to it or something. Or hit. Or, I don't know, Jellyfish Guild. Like, I can put a little text. Just kind of explaining what's going on. Oh, that's perfect. Look, yeah, they're perfectly aligned now. I feel like sometimes the number's just not in the correct spot. I mean, I know it when it increases in size it would be a little weird, but that only happens rarely. I just feel like sometimes I see the red number in the wrong spot. Is it because I'm shooting in a different direction? They seem to be the exact same. They should be. Yeah, so I was saying display like what it actually is beside it. So like miss or hit or jellyfish destroyed or location discovered, so you kind of know why you're getting the points. And then for like the big ones, for like say you reveal an area on the map, right? You're looking for this area and it gets revealed. I could just have the score pop up here where it happens, or I just have it pop up over there and say what it's actually about. I kind of like, I mean, we might as well just try that out and see what we think. At this point, I don't really know, so I'm just kind of like doing things. So we just write miss, all caps, sure. Alright, where's our other one at? I just kind of like the idea of there's no reason not to explain what every point is, right? Yeah. Okay. Pressing the wrong button. Oh, I see. It was changing before because I was dipping back below 1,000,000. That's probably what was going on. Because I was missing a lot and then it would go back the other way. And then it's probably just like sitting between these two. That's why it was looking weird. I think I like that. I like the little explanation of what's affecting the score. It just seems like it might be a little bit of extra information. I don't know. Is it necessary information, right? Is it just adding more complication to the screen? But really, I think after you've seen it a couple times, you'll just kind of like stop looking at that and stop even paying attention to it. Most people won't even care about what's going on up there, right? I think that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out is I want to give enough information to the people who care about it that they can know what's going on, but I don't want it to be distracting for the people who don't care about it. And I think that's a very thin line to walk. It's going to be even worse when you're this thing, because it shoots so fast. If you're just holding the button, you're just going to constantly be saying miss, 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 miss. Which might be a little, yeah, annoying. Compared to just seeing like a number one. Ah! Crabs are annoying. My arch nemesis. Yeah, I don't know if I like the constant misses on the ship, the sub. I'm just really considering, do I even like the whole idea of the score? Should I just gut it? I guess there's another possibility where I make it an option you can turn on and off, so that if you don't care about it, you can turn it off. Or, yeah, I don't know. That would be something. I could have it off by default, but if you want to try and get a score, you can turn it on. I just feel like it'd be an unused option if it's not there. So I don't think this one's as bad because you're never looking up there. It's like in the sky, but the second you go into a deeper area, I think it's going to get a lot more annoying because suddenly it's just there on top and you're seeing constant misses. Oops. Definitely not as bad when you're not upgraded. It's just the fire rate's so much more here. I do like that I am definitely losing a ton of score by just holding down the fire button. I think my headphones are starting to break. Sometimes the left one goes out randomly. My left ear. Maybe I should just buy some of the giant clunky streamer headphones and get used to my ears being hot constantly. Oh, I remember the thing that I did before. I noticed that when I die, as the man, it caused a shadow down here, but the shadow actually doesn't rotate. And I guess I just never noticed that till recently. I just made it to where I updated it to where the shadow doesn't show up when you're in the death animation. That was the other thing I did. I could also just totally get rid of the whole part where we have the pluses and minuses and it just have the score update. Like old school. We don't have to explain what affects the score. I could also make it a setting to where if you want to see exactly what is affecting the score, that could just be an options. So it'll be off by default, but if you want to actually know, then you can turn it on and see the display of it. Oh, hi Alien. How are you? We haven't hung out recently. He's still upset I killed him that last time. Actually, he killed me the last time. Ah, okay, that's right. We can shoot bullets. Also, where are the enemies in this stage? Oh, there they are. I was too close to the bottom, that's why. I don't know, I spent all day just thinking about scores and what I actually want. I'm not really Not really decided either. It's kind of lame. I mean, okay, let's be honest. I did find out, I tried a lot of things, right? So it's not like I haven't made progress. Sometimes progress is finding out what you don't want. What I'm really thinking is, yeah, I'm just going to do something to where I think it would be best if it's an option. And the option either makes it to where you see what is affecting the score. And if that option's not on, you'll just see the score count up or down without actually. And I might even have an option where you just turn the score off if you don't care and you find it distracting. But I think by default, it'll just be like the normal one where it's on, but you can't see what's actually happening. And yeah, there's either more information or less. Yeah, it's off. That means doing something in the options menu. Ah, crap. Where would I put that? I can put it under game, though I've kind of used all my room in game with the cursor stuff. But that's where it would normally go. I could put it as part of display, I guess, but honestly, it would make a lot more sense to be here. I'll have to also do this so that if you have auto fire on by default, disable the accuracy point thing. I don't know. I feel like I just want to sleep on it. Maybe I should just stop thinking about it. It's because I'm not really 100%. I'm usually 100% on most things that I do. Or at least I can get to 100%. This case, I don't. I've done a lot of work on it and I still don't really know. And that's not good. It's awkward. I don't like the idea of making the options menu stuff, even though I feel like it's necessary. It means editing more of this crap. I could like squeeze all this stuff down a bit, make the boxes smaller. I don't really want to mess with that. So I feel like I need an option that is none of that. I really need to think like what I just want to think what do I want it to be by default. And is there a better solution, right? I don't want to like get hung up on it. Because I feel like there's a better solution or a way of approaching this that I'm just not thinking of. Something that would be more innovative. So maybe we don't mess with this anymore. I think outside of everything, I think adding the hit and miss to it is still a negative. So I am going to remove that. So at least we'll lock that in. We won't explain why certain score changes. Because it becomes too distracting if there's more than just a number. And I think even the numbers might be distracting. Too distracting, but I'm not sure on that one yet. Okay, is there anything else I can do? I mean, it's already 5:30, and I just feel like I haven't really done anything. Sometimes it's like that, and it never really feels good. I could do light rays. I still have to draw that. I could do random okay, so this is something I've been wanting to do. Let's do something at least. I've been wanting to put like random bubbles that appear occasionally while you're playing. I think the best place to do that would actually be like in the camera. It could also be in the stage spawners. But honestly, I think I want the bubbles to appear regardless of what stage you're on. As long as it's not the world map. So honestly, putting it on the camera makes a lot of sense. And I mean, this is pretty simple. It's just like a random chance that you spawn a bubble on screen. It's to add more visual stimulus, right? And sometimes you see like underwater stuff. Sometimes you just get like a random bubble coming from something underneath in the silt. So it just adds a little more visual movement to the scene. I think it will look good. And it should be pretty simple to do. If I can remember how I do most of my particle stuff. This is my testing button for... Actually, what was this for? This was for creating particles, but I removed the important part, the particle part. So I don't even remember which one it is. Okay, I need to look at like the player and see the bubbles he makes. Or we look at like an explosion. That makes bubbles. I guess that would be a good one. Alright, so this is what we want. We want random bubbles as part of the camera. I wonder how best to do this. I guess I want it to just be on a timer. I don't have a timer on this camera, do I? No. Alright, let's make a timer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say if the timer is greater than 0, we're going to create a bubble here. Alright, so particle create, global part system, XY, make the bubble, and this was making 20 bubbles. I want to just create, honestly I want a random range here, so though I want like an I random range, don't I? So it's a, yeah. Let's do, I mean 0 should always be an option. So 0 to, not that many, just like 3. Just a couple bubbles. And then the places they come out also need to be I think when bubbles are created, they have like a random difference on them, how they're actually generated. That's what makes them like balloon out. So I don't actually have to do anything different with that. All right, so I just need a different range on the X. The Y needs to always be like room height. So it comes from under the screen. Honestly, this could be based off the camera's view. It might look better if the bubbles just appear. So yeah, let's do it based on the camera. So it would be Y plus 960, or no, it's 1080, so What was that again? 540? Yeah. But I don't want 540. I want a little bit lower than the camera actually. So let's do 600. And then this will be just a random range. High random range, because why not? I mean, it doesn't really matter for this one, but whatever. 0 to, I guess the room width. Okay, so we're gonna get a random position. It's always gonna be below the camera view, and it's gonna create between 0 and 3 bubbles. And this happens every time the timer is greater than 0. And then all I gotta do is to make this like a random timing. We just say timer equals I random range again. And we just set like a negative number. So I guess I want it to sometimes be like no bubbles for like a couple seconds. And then sometimes it could be like instant bubbles. So let's start off with like a small to a large number. But let me think, like what's the smallest number? Maybe like a second or half a second. I feel like half a second might be too low, but I'm gonna start with that. So that'll be our lowest number. Our highest number would be, it could be like -300 or maybe -600. That's 10 seconds. Let's do -600. I think 10 seconds. Okay, so random range from -300 to -600. And actually, his numbers are backwards. Things are working negative. I don't think that matters, but it might. I want the smaller number on the left, bigger number on the right. All right, let's try that. That should just work. And at least then we would have done something today that mattered. And then I'm gonna like sleep on the whole score thing and see if I think of something better or what I actually want. I just need to visualize it, and I'm not really doing that right now. But this should give me some random bubbles every now and then while you're playing the game, which I think will look nice. Add a little more visual stimulus to the scenes. When are we going to see our first bubble? That was some bubbles, wasn't it? They're pretty rare. Maybe they're too rare. Oh, there's one. I think I'm starting a little below where I should because the bubbles get really big by the time they actually make it to the screen. It's okay, maybe it's too long and too far down. It was 540, right? Let's just do something like 550, so it's still close to the bottom of the screen. And then I think 10 seconds might be too much. Let's cut that to 5 seconds. There's some bubbles. It's just the occasional 0 to 3 bubbles. Still seems kind of rare. I guess that's just variance, and it's kind of good that, yeah, sometimes it's a long time and sometimes it happens pretty quick. What if we're in like a bigger stage? I might want to actually always do it based on the bottom of the screen instead of the bottom of the thing. Also, yeah, that also, when I'm going down, will look weird because we're going to see like a bubble spawn in the middle of the sea. Yeah, like that. I probably do want to always do it based on the bottom. I just wanted it to sometimes reach the top, but they go pretty high before disappearing. So that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, let's make it to where it's based off of the bottom of the screen instead of 550. So we'll just do room height. I just don't want it to be directly room height, so we'll say plus, make it a little smaller, like 25. Okay, so now it'll always be based off of the bottom. So we should still see bubbles from up here. They just kind of fade off before they make it all the way to the top in this kind of stage. But I do see them. They disappear like, yeah, right there. So they can still kind of reach the top, but you're going to see them more down here. Just the occasional bubble. I think it's fine. It's just to add a little extra movement every now and then. I could also make bubbles appear where jellyfish come up, because I think that would be a nice way of signaling that danger is coming from that area. So, and that would help if you're like going down and you see bubbles. You should be, that should be the sign that there's something there. I might do that. I could even make crabs make bubbles when they walk or something, like they're disturbing the silk. Make it to where jellyfish actually create bubbles when they come up. Crabs make them when they walk. Might just be a nice little touch. And it will give some more movement to the scenes. Okay, let's do that. And I'm happy with what I did here. I think this is fine. So now I want to make, I want jellyfish and octopus to make bubbles when they reach the bottom of the screen. It's going to be very similar to what we just did. Though it's a little bit confusing. I can get rid of a lot of these windows. Alright, we want something similar to this. Alright, so what I'm thinking is, if jellyfish are between a certain area, they create a couple bubbles to signal that they're coming. And that'll be part of the move. We've got this if y equals surface. We're gonna do here. If y is, I kind of got to do like between two numbers. I can't really just say if it equals the room height, really got to be like between the room height and something else. So if it is greater than room height, and y is less than room height, I guess just plus 10. We're looking for a 10 pixel range there. These guys move at 2.5. I think this will work for this and the jellyfish, or at this and the octopus. Alright, so if that's true, then honestly I probably don't even have to spread this out, but we want to create this. My random range. This isn't true. It's going to be at its x coordinate. It's going to be at its y coordinate. We're going to make bubbles, but we're going to actually have like, let's do like, I don't want too many. We'll just do like 2 to 5, because it's gonna repeat like a couple times too as it goes through this small area. So it doesn't have to be that many. It's like 2 to 5. It's gonna trigger like maybe 4 times, maybe not even that. So at most we'll get up to like maybe 20 or 8. But I think that should be fine. In fact, I don't think this needs to be here. Do that. Not that long. Alright, so I just really need this part. I gotta put this into the octopus, so it does that as well. I also want to apply this to, well, the crab will need to do it, but before the crab, we've got some light-minded enemies in here. Okay, so this will be part of the spawn. So it's going to have this as well, only it's going to create a lot more bubbles because it's a big enemy. Let's do like 10 to 20. The final octopus is the same deal. I don't even remember where this starts. I think it starts on the bottom of the screen. It might come in from the side, actually. It's X. Oh yeah, it's Y equals 350, so it doesn't even come in from the bottom. This one starts at the top. Okay, so that one doesn't actually count. This one should be good. I could also do the eel, because the eel comes from the bottom of the screen, but it moves too fast. I guess throwing a whole bunch of bubbles out every time it actually comes up would be a nice little effect. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Anytime it attacks, it goes up. I think anytime I want to switch it to up, which I don't remember where that happens at. This is for the first up. Is alarm 0? Where do we make it come up? State equals first up here. I guess this would be a good place to be, like, create the bubbles for the first one. And this doesn't matter for that one. So we just want to create a bunch of particles. Yes, we want lots of particles to be like, hey, something bad's about to come from under the ground. So let's do like, I don't know, a lot. 30 to 100. bunch of particles on that first up. But now where does the second up come in? So we go to standby. We have alarm 0 goes to 60, and that's down. Once it reaches the bottom, oh, this is where it is. Also, in that creation event, yeah, this is X and Y. Okay, so at this point, I want to actually make particles. This is going to get way too big at this point, but whatever. Probably another 20 to 100 every time this comes up. I'm just going to trust my numbers here and not actually test them, because when has that ever been a problem? Also, I really don't want this part on here. What happens when your crap is too big? Alright, so that'll make the ill create a whole bunch of bubbles now. I just want to set up both the crabs to create bubbles, which I think it would be nice if the bubbles come out where its feet are, which will be a little bit challenging. Honestly, it's not too hard. I can do some math here if I go look at the sprite. So it's at 50 and 35. I would just want it to come out at like this point and this point. Okay. That's a custom, so 50, 35, so we want to come out at, that looks about right. So minus 30 and 35 to 65. That would be plus 35. No, that's plus 30. Okay, so minus 30 and plus 30. Okay, and the other way is probably just going to be plus 30, plus 30. We'll check that, but I think that if I do plus 30, it'll probably get where I want to go. Which 50 plus 30 would be 80. So yeah, 80 is about at the right spot. We'll go with that. Alright, now this gets to go back to 50 and 35. I wonder if I put it back to the original settings, will it actually redraw everything again? Because technically nothing changed, but it's Game Maker. Alright. When it moves is when we create these things, right? I wonder how best to do this. I don't want to do it every frame, but I do want to do it. I've already used the timer. I kind of feel like I could use this timer somehow to set up the way the bubbles come out. I could also just make it where the bubbles... I mean, yeah, there's another way to do this. So I can make it run constantly, and I would just have to say this. Now let's back this part up. Get rid of that. Alright, so we're creating the particles. We're going to create it at negative 30 and 30. So minus 30 and plus 30. And then what I'm thinking here, this is one way I can make it to where they don't always come out. So I say clamp. So this number, which can be, so here's what I do. If I make it like negative 10 to 3. And then I'm going to clamp it between 0 and 3. This is what I'm thinking. So anytime it rolls a number that's less than 0, it's just going to set it to 0. So it's basically not going to create anything. And if it happens to roll one of these numbers above 3, then it will choose one of those. It'll be 1, 2, or 3. So I think that's one way that I can do, like, sometimes bubble gets created. And if I do that on both of them, I think we'll get a good effect. I'm gonna have to test this one because this is an if. All I gotta do here is do plus 30. But this guy, when he's doing his walk animation, so when he's moving, sometimes he'll be kicking up bubbles with his feet. This is the ideal result here. Let's test that. And that'll kind of signal that there's a crab below you there, which is something I think would be really nice. And yes, it is going to create the texture group from scratch, it seems. So we'll test that. Mic work? Yeah, good. Mic still works. I haven't checked that in a while, so I'm glad it works. Alright, so this is random bubbles, which I skipped a step to get random bubbles. I'm going to do light rays, but I also want to do, after random bubbles, I said it at the beginning of this, I want to make it to where lights turn on slowly, or lights change gradually. Because right now they just kind of click on and off. I want to change that to where they build up from 0, which is going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to add that in. Yeah, so I was thinking for doing light rays, I'm just going to draw light rays as like an object. And I'll either like turn them into sprite, or I'll turn them into like particles, which maybe I'll do that. I don't know. They're going to be huge particles. But that might look okay. And I'm just going to draw them at the surface so that they just randomly come up at different like alpha levels, different colors based on what the background is maybe. I don't know. I'm going to try and make light rays without doing it through a shader. I'm going to do it through just like physical drawing. Because I think the light rays peering in through the water it's like more movement to the scene, kind of like why I made the bubbles. And it'll just look nice, I think. As you're close to the top, you see these little light rays peering through. Because that shader that I had that did that before was not really ideal. It darkened the rest of the screen. So I'm gonna try and do it a different way. Should be fine. I feel like I've always struggled every time I've done light rays. But I was looking at it really well, and I think I get it. Like, I've got this picture. We can look at it real quick while we wait for this to load. Oh, oops. That got rid of my music because it's a same program. Anyway, we can look at this. So this is a drawing I did, and it's got like light rays in it, but this is using, I don't know why that happened. This is using a program. You can see this, right? Yeah. Oh crap, that opened. Yeah, this is using a program that like you can use to do like subtle changes to like wavy effects and stuff to your artwork. It's very simple, but it's got like leaves falling and stuff. I was using this when I was starting to learn animation stuff. I wanted to make like moving images. But yeah, he's got like this thing in here that does these light rays, but when you look at them, they're really just like a line with like a little bit of it's a bit off center from where it's drawing it at, and it probably has like the left side of it is kind of blended out a bit, but it's always like the same image. It's just whether it's how much alpha is applied to it, right, to make it do that thing, and then how long it lasts on screen, right? There's a couple like variables there, but I should be able to recreate all that and just draw my own little picture and get kind of the same effect, I think, after looking at it and understanding it a bit better. It's still really impressive, like these movements that he does with the animation stuff for like breathing and stuff. Look how clean that looks. Really cool. This is called DP Animation. It's on Steam. It's a program I use to do these like moving things, little wavy effects. It's pretty limited in what you can actually do with it compared to something like GameMaker. But it is pretty neat if you want to do something and you're not, you don't want to learn a whole bunch of stuff. It's just got a lot of settings that are pretty simple to use. But yeah, that's just the idea. I want to get this like light ray thing. I'm gonna try and copy this style, and I think I get a good idea of how it looks. I just need to draw this kind of sprite that looks like this. I'm gonna draw it as pure white, and we're probably only gonna we'll go from like 0 to like 50 or something, whatever it takes to get it to look kind of faded out. But I think if I go all the way to pure white, I can just dial it back as much as I need to get the effect that it needs to be. And I think I only need to actually draw one. I'll draw one. These ones always go off the edge of the screen. But I think if I draw one and just make it kind of end with like a little point, then I can make the size of it change as well. So you get some that are long, some that are shorter. Kind of what I was thinking. So I'm going to try and do that. Maybe make the game look a little nicer. Okay, well, seeing as I cut the music off, we'll look at the crab thing, and then I'm just going to end the stream after this. So let's make sure the crab walking looks good. We have to get a crab that actually spawns, which is easier said than done. Might take a couple of times going in and out. I know the crabs take a while to actually come on screen. It gives me a chance to look at the random bubbles some more. I think after like a couple seconds, I can assume that a crab's not coming now. Keep running this. I think crabs are actually more likely in the deeper water though. Salmon. There he is. Oh yeah. Okay. Too many bubbles. It's way too often. I mean, that makes sense. It's running at like 60 times a second, right? So even if I set it up like I did, it's still triggering way too often. So let's adjust that. And I think the way to adjust this is just setting this number way lower so it's a lot less likely to occur. So at 50 and 3, we're looking at happening like once a second, because if it's happening 60 times every second, the chance of it hitting a 53, or one of those numbers above 50, is about 1 every second. I think this might be too little, but I know it was way too much before, so we'll go here for the next test. I've been doing pretty good on doing game dev every day. I've missed one day this month, and honestly, on that day was a day that I worked on Goba. I really wanted to count that as a game dev day on my calendar, but as far as I thought about it, it's like, for me, a game dev day is a day that works towards game dev stuff that actually might make me money. And I don't think working on Goba is going to make me any money. So I'm not counting it, but I'm going to try and get as many game dev days this month as possible to make up for last month. I feel bad. Last month was like, I don't know, it was like 17 or 18 days. So I missed a lot of days. So I'm trying to like recover that this month. All right, we need to go to deeper water. Turtle. Oh yeah, look, there's the bubbles coming up. The bubbles come up after the thing. Oh man, still way too many bubbles on that crab. It is working. It's because the bubbles like go down a bit before they come up. They really need to be created. Actually, like, look how long it takes for them to catch up to where the thing is, right? Also, this guy is. Oh, he's still moving technically, even though he's not. Oh, I got killed there. Honestly, there's a lot about this I'm not quite thrilled about. Yeah, like those bubbles being formed don't do any good to signal. Also, that octopus didn't really create any bubbles to signal when he came up. Or I guess it did. It's just it won't be underneath them anymore. Maybe the octopuses don't matter. It's gonna be hard to get it to come, like the bubbles to appear where he appears. I could make another bubble like particle, one that immediately shoots up and doesn't do the whole like slow increase, and that way they'll come up exactly where I want to signal, and we just use those particles instead. Maybe that's what I need to do there. I think that's what I'm going to end up doing. That means making a totally different bubble object. But yeah, I want one that doesn't like start slow. I want one that actually starts fast. It's definitely weird that... No, I want the bubbles to be like right on them when they come up. Or maybe just a little bit above them. Because they're supposed to be like a signaler. So anyway, that's something I can do later, but the crab. We didn't really get crabs that time. It was still like way too much, right? And I wonder if it's too much because the numbers don't work the way I think they do, or it does seem like a lot less than it was before. So I think I just need to increase my numbers even more. I think the crab should also use the fast bubbles when I create them. Because it's weird that the bubbles go down on the crab before going up. Okay, so let's edit that. 50 is not enough. I could try 100, just like almost double that number. It is doubling that number. So it should happen half as often as it was happening before. Once I get this done, I'll later create a bubble that just goes up immediately. And I'll apply it to everything that I just changed. Because I think that has to apply to all these enemies. I wonder if the bubble... I need to look at like what my old bubble did. I wonder if it actually has a max speed, or if they're just constantly increasing in speed. I think they are constantly increasing in speed. Alright, that was no good. No crab. There's a couple like little display things I just want to fix. One was the lights. One was adding a little bit more movement. Okay, there we go. New crab. Yeah, okay, so we get occasional bubble. I think that's a little more acceptable. As long as it came up quicker. Alright, that looks pretty good. It's not too much. Just the occasional thing. So if you're like here messing around and you see all these bubbles, right? then you know there's something down there. And at least now when you go down, you're not totally surprised there's a crab. I think that's good. So some other things I was thinking about adding is I'm just not happy with like the way explosions work on the surface, right? I tried to make it to where the water changes colors when it like, if it gets too high, I want it to change to white, but it changes like the whole sprite. So I gotta figure out some way to like overlay a bit of white in this area. And I don't think I want to change the color of actually like around the explosion itself. But it would be fun to do like a ripple shader or something. I know that's something that's possible. I'll have to look it up because I know it's in some other program. But anytime you make like a big explosion, not like that, it'd be cool if it sends out like a little ripple. I don't know if that would make the screen too busy, but yeah, if like right there at that implode, if just a big old ripple comes out. Actually, the ripple would come out in the beginning, right? That would also make the, like, if the ripple hits the surface, the giant explosion coming out would make a little more sense. Maybe like more splashing. I don't know. I'm just trying to like improve the look of things a bit. Yeah, adding juice to the game, basically. That word. I still don't want to do like screen shaking. I'm not a fan of screen shaking. But though that would be an option. I could make it anytime there's an explosion, there's a screen shake. It's also weird there that the explosion was behind the ship instead of... I don't know why that happened. I haven't really noticed that till now. But yeah, when I killed that fish there, the explosion for the fish was behind the ship, which I guess is just hard to duplicate. I mean, it doesn't really matter either. How often is that going to happen? It's happened to me like once that I've seen out of all my playtesting, right? Honestly, it should happen with like jellyfish a lot. That was in front. I missed my chance there. Oh god, I got pinched. Okay. I'm gonna stop messing with this. I'm gonna think really hard while I go to sleep about what I want a score to look like. I'm gonna change the bubbles. Make a note of that so I remember. Where is that? Alright, so we did random bubbles, but we want to do enemy bubbles, move faster, on start or on create. Then I'm going to write down, this is for the crab, the jellyfish, the octopus, and going to be for the giant jellyfish and the giant eel. Those are the three things that changed. Was there anything else? I think that was it. Alright, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to think really hard about what I'm doing with the scores and how I want that to look. Yeah, the next like couple things I'm working on before I get to the UI finally is just like some visual improvements, I guess is what we call it. I want to do the light rays, these different like bubbles. I also want to do like the zooming in on the boat. So when you like enter a stage, instead of just like changing scenes, I want to like zoom in to where the boat is, and then once you exit the stage, it'll zoom back out off the boat. So I'm gonna set that up just to give it some like more interest. I don't know, it's quiet. I know I've been streaming for, it's only been 4 hours, so I guess that's not too bad. It feels like longer. I guess that's right, I did start at 2. So technically, I was only working on it for 2 hours. I guess that's what bothered me. I was technically only working on the score for 2 hours. It's because I started later and I forgot. We got some stuff done. I don't know. It's just one of those days. Feels weird. I got to 150 followers. Awesome. Did I miss a follow? I must have missed a follow. This is what happens is I don't have Streamlabs open ever. I don't know. I rarely get any activity, so I don't really feel the need to have it open most of the time. Recent events. Oh, Ivan followed. Thank you for the follow. Totally missed that. Also, I have a great example. I was talking about it before. I just wanted to show it. Yeah, still uploading TikTok videos, right? But here's like the perfect example of what I was talking about in previous streams. I don't understand TikTok. And I think this is a great example to where, like, yeah, upload a picture of this awesome raptor animation that I'm super proud of. And I'm like, yeah, get 0 views. Upload a picture of this weird pterodactyl chicken, 250 views. It's like, I don't get it. Why is that one popular but none of the other ones get any views? I don't know. Like I said, some of them get some views, which is cool. I don't know. So far, the marketing. I think Twitter's been the most effective thing, even though Twitter seems to be dying like crazy, and that's what everybody keeps saying. Honestly, Twitter seems to be the thing that is getting me more follows than anything. Or, I don't know, more traction, action, whatever you want to call it. More, oh wait, there is a good word for this. It's, visibility is a better word for that. I can't think of the name of it. Sometimes advertising isn't about actually selling anything, it's just about being known. But like they say a lot. So I don't remember the word. But yes, I'm more and more people are aware of me now at least, which is actually a win when it comes to marketing. Because that does lead to sales eventually. At least that's the idea. Okay. I've talked enough. I'm ending now. Yeah. And I don't know when I'll next stream. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow, but probably not. I'll probably just I want to make some progress off stream, I think, for this kind of thing. I think the next time I'll stream, I'll probably be doing UI. That would be the goal. Maybe I'll start doing UI, or I'll have some of the UI done, and I think that'll be my next stream. Okay, later.